Hey, Scott Narver, what do you think about part twos?
J. Cloyd Bacon, part 2 is never as good as the original.
No, love diminishing returns. The sequels are always shit.
Oh, yeah. If I see a sequel, I head straight the other way.
Well, we are both in agreement.
2023, A Year in Wrestling, part 2. Today on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
It's the day after Christmas.
Oh.
Is that Christmas backwards? Because when you're looking at it from the other direction.
Yeah, you can't say ho 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 no more.
No, it's yeah. You got it. It's in your rearview mirror. Everything's backwards in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, now it's all about getting receipts.
Right.
Getting credit for all the shit that you didn't want. Like, I got enough socks. Like, I want
and you know what?
Cash.
When you get that money back, great place to spend it is DragonWagonShop.com. Oh,
what?
Yep. What he said.
Dragon Wagon Strip Club. All your favorite hosts from all your favorite shows dancing with titty tassels.
I could probably work a titty tassel pretty well.
Listen, you're in New York now. You're going to within 6 weeks.
This ain't about titty tassels. This is about 2023, a year in wrestling. We are going to pick back up where we left off last week from our extended discussion that we recorded on December 17th. This is we're chatting all about obviously the punk of it all, looking ahead at the year to come, all sorts of fun stuff because listen, it was definitely a memorable year. So you want to just get right back to it, Scotty boy?
Absolutely.
Impact, aka TNA, is it back now? Is TNA back? I couldn't remember when the date was. Is it next year?
January in the pay-per-view.
Gotcha.
But the announcement was made this year, and
right.
It's certainly, from what I've seen, like the wrestling community has a lot of positivity and excitement for it.
So in our year in review here, it is the last year of Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, but then next year it'll be TNA Impact Wrestling again for the TV show.
Are they still calling the program Impact Wrestling next year?
They've always called it Impact Wrestling.
I know. That's what I meant. Are they going to continue to do that? You assume?
I would. If they didn't, that's fucking bonkers. Because
right.
You wouldn't name Raw something else. They didn't go from WWF to WWE and go, well, let's change the name. Well, we've had the show for quite a while now.
Right.
Nah.
They went from WWE
Undercooked.
WWE. Well done. Damn it. Okay, never mind. That was better. This is why you need a writer's room. Listen, sometimes an idea comes out and it's just clearly superior. I don't know much other than Santino and what we watched of Santino and some of the things that were shared. And I went, I like that. I'm happy that that's happening. It's not enough to get me to tune in. It also feels like it's still the pandemic there for some reason. Like whenever I watch any of their
the
clips,
presentation is pretty much the same. So it has that feel of,
right.
It's a really darkened space. There's
not
hardly anybody there.
Not a lot of crowd.
It's probably the same fans. They're like, fuck yeah. Woo-hoo.
Like I got season tickets. We don't do that here. What do you mean?
Well, no one's upset because you're still here and that's great. The mark of TNA coming back feels like a solid point to then try again, right? You feel like you're gonna do rebranding. Maybe there's a new champ or not, or you're really putting all your eggs in the basket of, hey, this is our champ. We're gonna showcase them. That is a smart marker to put. Hey, you should start watching again now, because that'll be telling that if they don't have the plans of making the show interesting and trying to grab the people that fell out or haven't watched back in, then they don't have plans and they don't know what the fuck they're doing at all.
Right.
I'm going to assume that they do, though.
Right.
And they know something is going to happen. And I think that's what everybody's anticipation is. I don't know if the numbers have gone up since watching. There could be a lot of people like me going, no, I'm going to wait. I don't want to see what's going on now. I don't know if you're doing an open house.
Right.
You are not having an open house right now. Like if I go over there right now, you didn't fucking vacuum. There's fucking pizza behind the couch.
Right.
There's the cat shit box is not clean. Like, let me know when that open house is. I'll be there for that.
It's weird. I was talking with Alexandra and somebody else yesterday about like the process of creating art these days and how there's all this emphasis on like the community where it's like, oh, if you're working on a project of some sort, if you're writing a book or if you're trying to make a movie or something that like one of the best things you can do in 2023 in modern society is like engage with your audience through the process via social media and via, like you're encouraged nowadays to like share your steps along the way. And like, this is creating art is now part of the story of the art.
Oh God.
And I think about it, I know, and I have the same reaction. And it's like,
but it's so dishonest.
Just finish. Yeah. But it's also like, I don't want to see your fucking rough draft. Put the work in, show me the work. And then when it's all said and done, show me the best version of what you got. Put the best foot forward.
Because I don't want to see Stephen King making a video going, today I jerked off and ate 2 sleeves of Oreos and I really didn't get around to writing a book.
In fairness, I was on another rant about Stephanie Myers on Twitter. I was supposed to have 3 pages done, but I did that instead because I started reading Twilight once more.
Yeah, like I can well assume I know that you didn't work your hardest every day at a thing. I don't need to see your fake process of
sure.
I was working today. I was harnessing energy. I did my morning workout and then I got some sun and I did. Fuck you. You know you didn't. You're on Instagram for 3 hours and taking a shit and like, get out of here with all that. Yeah. I agree with you. Make the thing.
And then when you're done with it, let me know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I feel like you're describing here. Is like,
yeah, it's not ready yet.
No, it's not ready yet. It still needs some more time in the oven.
Yeah. Grand opening coming soon. Grand reopening under same management.
Right.
Coming soon.
Yeah, cool. Relaunch. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I want to support initially because I know it's out in Vegas in the I always want to call it Sam's Club, but it's not Sam's Club. It's
Sam's Club? They put a ring right in the middle?
It's that old town section of Vegas.
Like Elmont Street? Fremont Street?
Not downtown.
Okay.
But they have like this like old westerny part, and it's where a lot of ROH shows and other New Japan Strong shows are now.
All right.
And cool. I just went for the New Japan Strong show in Vegas with Roseka recently.
Gotcha. The one with the Kingston title match.
Mm-hmm. And it's a cool little venue for it. It's perfect because you get to be in Vegas, but you don't have to be directly in the heart of Vegas like a T-Mobile arena and just go, all right, we got to park at a casino. We're going to walk over here and do all that. And it's not the worst, but this is just secluded and it's
the Pearl Theater. Is that what it's called? The Pearl Theater?
Yeah, but within.
Right. I mean, it's technically in Las Vegas, so I don't know what the name of the like sub town is, but
no, it's like Sam's Town or something like that.
Ooh, Sam's Club. Yeah, it's interesting. I just hope that I hope that they bring back.
It is. It's Sam's Town.
Oh, perfect. You look at that. You nailed it. You second guessed yourself.
So yeah, if you look up Sam's Town, you'll see it's just a little hub. You know, there's gambling, there's a little hotel, and it's just enough of an island that for the cheaper side of things.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah. So it's like east of the Gustavo. Oh, it's actually closer to where my brother is out there in Henderson. But
I mean, we still get emails all the time. Like we're constantly offered, interviews with
I was going to say
TNA superstars.
I was going to say I want TNA to bring back some, some of the familiar faces that I'm aware of from TNA.
Karen Jarrett,
Skeeter, Skyflyer, and Marky Extreme.
Oh, I don't know if
all of my favorite TNA interviews and Impact Wrestling interviews were in front of that sign, and it featured Skeeter, Skyflyer, or Marky Extreme.
I tell you, that's a whole other thing. But God,
again, under some new management.
Oh, if management hadn't changed at that time, what could have been? What could have been? I think potentially, and I don't think it's out yet. I was really hoping to try and see it beforehand, but I don't think it's out. I'm gonna check that right now. The Iron Claw.
Right. I think it comes out this Tuesday or
Thursday,
rather. Sorry,
fucking movies coming out.
Home video.
It's
a home video. I'm used to Blockbuster, like we said earlier.
230-621-90004.
Oh, now everybody knows your credit card number.
No,
you gave that away.
Wisely.
You don't got no money.
Yeah, you right. The Iron Claw.
Yeah, I was looking it up.
The latest movie that involves wrestling, and it's all about the Von Erich family. And my favorite was fucking seeing an interview with Flair and them going like, "Hey, what do you think about this movie?" And them telling the story about the Von Erich family. And he goes, "Yeah, it's 20 years too late." It's like it's not relevant now. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is shining a spotlight on older things, but he's like, I hope it does great. But no, late. It's all wrong.
What are you? What a weird way to look at how stories are told.
Yeah, or it's something that's from the past, and hey, we want to shine a spotlight on it now. So it's like, hey, we're gonna do a story about Martin Luther King Jr. That guy's dead.
That's way too late on that. You missed the boat on that one.
Missed the boat on that one. They should have done that. He says they should have done it a couple of years after everything. I'm like, what are you talking about? That would have looked fucking terrible.
Yeah, it also would have been a bad movie.
And there's that.
By the way, I'm right. It comes out this upcoming Thursday from recording. It's probably out already if you're listening to this in the main feed. It probably came out last Thursday, December 22nd. So yeah.
So it's one of those weird things, as Alice Rader says, it comes out December 22nd, Friday, but there's a lot of theaters now that will show a movie. They advertise it to come out on the Friday. Yeah, it'll actually come out on the Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like it's a Thursday evening release, yeah.
But it's still it's fucking weird because it's not just evening, it's late afternoon as well. Oh, really? So like at 4:00 are the first showings that I see here. But I think from all elements involved, right? Chavo Guerrero is the trainer. Right. And he's been doing interviews talking about, these guys are great. And, he didn't train them because there's a difference in the talks of the training that he's had with them. He's like, I didn't train them to have matches. I trained them to have
those those moments,
to have the moments in the movie to look like these moments and to get them aware and like to do a performance. He's like, understanding that we're all performers and we're telling stories. Like I got them to associate and do that. If you train me to have them wrestle, how soon could I get these guys ready for a TV match? A month. Right. Because he's like, these guys are so adept and these guys are so into it. And they all seem to love the project. They all seem to come together. It seems like it was very collaborative. And it seems like all the best intentions were made with this movie. It's an A24 production that you and I have touted at that company of art is first.
Right. Yes.
With them. And maybe that's what the A is. I don't know. But I think while it's probably going to be sad, I think it's going to do a lot of good things for wrestling and the perception for those that see it. It's probably going to get some, nominations for awards. And again, like shining spotlight on the wrestling, that it's not all bad and hopefully not as dark and depressing as the wrestler.
I was going to say it is about the Von Erich, so we don't know what the intent of this tale. Like it's all been very tight-lipped about what sort of movie this is. It could be just as fucking depressing and bad as the wrestler.
But it's still the wrestler. You're watching a guy that's alone trying to reconnect with his daughter that he wasn't around and then hanging out with a sexy Marissa Tomei stripper. So it's, he's trying to make things happen.
Sure.
When the audience loves him, compared to this family's a tight-knit unit. They're trying to impress dad. These brothers fucking love each other. Right. Audience loves them. So we're starting off at a place of love. And while it may be sad in the end, we may have a lot of a journey of, we saw the family and their rise to stardom and all that. I just think there's good. This could do a lot of good for wrestling perception.
Right. I hope so. Especially amongst the art house nerds who just love this distribution company, who will just see anything that has their brand on it, you know?
Yeah, they wear their fucking hats and it's like, what are you doing?
Come on, I used to have a Miramax hat before all that shit came out about.
No, that's where you got it. That's what was weird.
No, don't tell people that. Listen,
no,
I didn't
you didn't like Harvey. You like the other brother.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Bob. Is that his name?
Sure.
Bob
Weinstein.
Richard.
Dickhead Weinstein. So I think it's cool. I think that's cool that from what is probably just what would be in a little indie movie, I think it's going to get a little bit more mainstream than that. I think more people are going to check it out.
It doesn't hurt that they got some great stars of the era, like not just
Zac Efron being like this sort of beloved guy from like who comes from a completely different generation of like young teen actors. Like you have this Disney star who people grew up watching him, and maybe they were into like the High School Musical era stuff, and now they're a little bit more mature, and then I go, oh, I'm gonna follow Zac Efron because I like this guy, I like what he does. But then you also have like the success of that dude from The Bear, who's also in Shameless, but like The Bear was really his new like huge critically acclaimed, like this is like one of the, it's one of the most highly regarded shows the past, few years. He's the star of it. He's in this movie. Everybody's talking about him. Like, I think you kind of, all of these things have come together at this perfect time. And I think it's also interesting too, because it isn't a casual, it's not like Young Rock where it's like, yeah, okay, we know that guy. And this is like a watered down, silly, campy version of whatever this fucking story was. Most people have fucking no idea who the Von Erichs are, even if they were casual wrestling fans when they were kids. Because it's not like they were getting brought up, in the Attitude Era. Stone Cold wasn't referencing them, or you know what I mean? Like, I think this is going to be an introduction. There's only a couple of them around.
So. Yeah, but it's going to be a huge introduction to this whole family. Where my question is going to be, how far into it do people go? Wait, is this based on real people? Like, the casual fans.
I imagine that'll be a thing right up top of like, this is a true story. This is
right. Yeah.
And my deep hope in this, my wish for this, not that piece of shit Disney movie wish, but my real wish.
It's infinite wishes.
Is it revitalizes Southern wrestling? Like Southern wrestling as a whole, or the characters have just dissipated from the New York era of like a Vince Russo taking over and just shitting on it, and just Southern are the fucking greats of all time. Like, you can take three of the fucking best there have ever been to be wrestlers. They all came out of Texas. Stone Cold, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
All Texas.
I'll argue with you though, that while I don't disagree that it is diminished, I think guys like Cody have done a pretty good job of carrying that mantle. Like, Cody to me is like,
have you seen his neck?
With the exception of the scripts, which by the way, he's one of the best. Not NXT
scripts,
not scripts. Oh my God, talk about best
scripts.
Talk about best of 2023. We didn't even talk about scripts.
Yeah.
But with the exception of the fact that like, I don't think that him really rehearsing and like getting down a promo is just something that is not of that era. He does it in a way that, feels authentic to the era. And it seems like he's sort of carrying that mantle.
But he's second generation.
Sure.
Right. Like, his dad wasn't ever going to love him if he wasn't a wrestler. No, I'm kidding. But the other guys
do
were
we know that he
wrestling
really did?
Guys, like they went to the shows and they fucking loved wrestling so much, and these rednecks went, I'm gonna do that.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, Cody's doing great things, comes out of Georgia, but the Texas wrestling scene, the amount of wrestlers from Texas is not what it used to be. Terry Funk. There are so many fucking Texas wrestlers. They're really good at it. And they're not coming out. They're not in the droves that they once were. I hope this does something for that. That again, it's a very deep hope, very deep wish. But we need more Texas wrestlers.
Right now, there's no wrestling company association with this movie. And that is a good thing for the movie, but whether or not it's going to help move a needle in any direction, I don't think so. But you know what? I like your wish. And
the Von Erichs that showed up, the ones remaining showed up at AEW. I didn't want to watch that because I just had a feeling, and I still get to find out what happened. But
I had a feeling that one of them was missing a foot. What kind of feeling? That it wasn't good?
That they're going to make him do something fucking stupid and
degrading. Got it.
One of the best things of 2023, I don't know if you saw this, because Maxwell Jacob Friedman is an executive producer on the movie.
Yes.
For the premiere at the red carpet, who is he there with?
Him and John Cena.
Taking photos? How fucking cool was that? The current champ of AEW on the red carpet of a movie about the Von Erichs that Maxwell Jacob Friedman, I think, is in, but also executive producer.
Yeah, he's in it.
And Hollywood fucking A-lister. That's not an exaggeration.
Nope, not at all.
Previous wrestler who just wrestled this
name of
year.
all time. Yeah, exactly.
John Cena, major WWE superstar, at the red carpet together, taking photos, exchanging words. Cena's being very complimentary. I can't tell what he's saying, but clearly Maxwell's like, thanks, man.
Yeah, he's a fan. I'm sure that he is a fan. But that was great. It was a crazy photo.
Amazing. That's so much better than all the backstage, like, oh my gosh, fucking Adam Copeland and Christian Cage in the same ring. Something like that. It's like,
I'm going to argue that it's one of the best 2 photos in wrestling of the year. And the other one is Triple H and Punk under the logo pointing at each other. That I'll never not find that absolutely fucking astonishing.
That's true. That's an amazing moment.
But those two, and I'm not saying one of them is better than the other, but they're both.
One is so surreal in the working wrestling environment.
Yes, 100%.
And the other one is like it's outside of it, and that it's a major deal. It's not See No Evil premiere and Kane's there.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
With like, the lead actress of the movie. It's like, oh, what a big deal that he's there. It's like, yeah, that's cool and all. But no, this is fucking mainstream now. Cena's with MJF. So Cena fans, MJF's getting that little bit more exposure that it's making headlines and people might go, well, who's that guy? That's the current champ of this other company. And
he's getting the rub.
Shaking his fucking hand.
He's getting that Cena rub.
It's so fucking cool. But like you said, I think a bigger point of what we need to talk to you about the best and the worst of the year of
I guess
CM
it depends.
Punk being fired. Also your perspective, right? Like some people 100%. Might be like, best moment of the fucking year, CM Punk fired from AEW. Worst of the year, CM Punk hired in WWE.
Or the same. Some people might say best because people didn't want him in AEW. Some people did. Some people don't want him in AEW. Some people do. So it could go either way.
I think you and I are on the same page of not a great moment for AEW.
Before we move on, I didn't know about this.
Sure.
And I love this. Alice Rader in the chat says that the next day, apparently, Cena just posted a Burberry print on his Instagram. You know what Burberry is, right?
I watch AEW. I know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the scarf. So I didn't know
Triple
that.
B, sir.
That's fun. Nice job, Alice Rader.
So yeah, he just put a Burberry.
Yeah, just like
his Instagram.
Just a little nod because he always does it. His Instagram is just like no captions, it's just a picture, and he's just like, make of this what you will. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're all surprised because he does everything Bret Hart does, and he buried the hatchet somehow with a company that he left in very, very negative standings and said a lot of very bad things about.
I don't know if Bret Hart ever buried the hatchet with Triple H. It's always talked about with Shawn Michaels, but I don't know how he feels about Triple H because Triple H was there for all this shit.
But wasn't it Triple H?
He's happy to always claim like, I said screw him, and we'll help screw him for you.
I guess I thought it was Triple H who helped get Brett back. Am I just making that up?
Back when it was Vince and the DVD and all that? No, that was Vince.
Yeah, no, Vince.
That was him and Vince talking.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, listen, everything down to
have you seen him since?
Frozen over.
Has he been back since Triple H been in charge? I don't think so.
Well, it's because he went over to the AEW. Can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. I mean, it's kind of surreal and insane. And I think the second he popped up in AEW, we had the conversation of like, well, now he'll probably end up back there. But there was still always that thing in the back of my mind that's just like, he's too much of a dick he'll never say he's sorry for what he did. And he'll also, but at the end of the day, he's also very good at business.
It never seemed likely to me at that time.
No, me neither.
It was, this is a small window.
Yeah.
I'm going to capitalize on money. I want to help out these guys. And the schedule, all this stuff is good enough to wrap it up. And I'm good.
Right.
I'll show up at occasional things. Like, would he show up for a WWE Hall of Fame thing and all that? Like, yeah, sure. In time. But
he did.
I did my last little bit that I wanted to do wrestling.
Yeah. He literally did a show for them in front of their logo on Fox. He was part of that backstage show.
I'm aware.
So but the point I'm trying to make is like
when our show went away and then that show.
But anyways, so it's not like, it's not like it was the most unheard of thing in the entire world that yes, he might do something with them, but would he show up?
But to be a full-time wrestler.
Yeah. I honestly never thought he would. Never thought he would.
No. And so many people have such strong feelings in admiration or in, fucking hatred for Punk and the perception of like, he's a total dick. I think this is going to be really interesting that we see. Yes, there's always a part of him that's always looking out for himself.
Right.
And that he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah. But
he's got convictions. And I think most top star wrestlers do.
Yeah. It's worked for most of the other guys that we love.
And the environment is going to be very telling of if we find out in the next year or two, there were no problems. He did have no skirmishes with anybody.
Right.
Everything went fucking great.
Right.
And that'll be the people that are not counted for in AEW that also said the same things where it's like, yeah, we got along great. It was fine. Everything was good.
Yep.
Everything was professional. That it'll be a spotlight on the other people where you go, oh, I guess those people in AEW that were problematic were unprofessional.
It's sort of like the worst thing for AEW is Punk doing well here for a few years. Like it's like, oh, it's going to be an indictment. It's
it's kind of like with Cody, right? Where you go, yeah, Cody was doing pretty good, and there's clearly something more, but they couldn't capitalize on it. They couldn't make Cody as big of a deal as he should have been. Because he comes over to the other company and they go, oh yeah, he's a way bigger deal than he ever was.
Well, and I'm going to get flack for this because I'm the WWE shill always and forever. But like the reason why you couldn't make him a bigger deal was because he was as big a deal as you could be in that young company at that point in time. And as much as we might hate that WWE is the machine, WrestleMania is the show. We talk about this all the time. There's nobody in the AEW locker room that is honest if they're saying that they wouldn't want to main event WrestleMania for the other company. Like it's the thing where like that's the stage. That it's unfortunate that there is this monopoly, but it's the
most amount of money. It's the biggest audience.
Yeah,
whoever has whatever. If it was WCW and Starrcade was still around, that would be the thing.
100%. Yes, and so
the Tokyo Dome is up there because that's also fucking gigantic.
Absolutely, but I think he got as big as he could in that company, especially with all the caveats that they placed on him.
He wasn't the champ.
Well, because they placed that stupid thing on him. Where
he did.
I know. That's what I mean.
Well, it's
they
still like
all of AEW.
When you're at the end of the day and you run the company and you own it and you go, no.
Isn't it also
what?
Part of it.
Wipe. You're going for the fucking title now. We're going to make you the champion because you are our biggest star. We're going to make you bigger. We're going to keep going with this.
Yeah.
That's up to Tony Khan to go, fuck you.
That's fair. That is, at the end of the day, I always argue about like when people say, not like a premise for a movie. Like, whoa, they're making a movie about this IP or something, and they go, oh, how could that possibly be good? My argument is always like, it's just good if you just make it good. Like, just write it. Anything can be a good story if you just fucking write it well. So I guess in that argument against myself, that's true. If they just wrote the whole thing,
bigger still.
Could have been bigger.
Can you reach the audience and everything of a WrestleMania? Right. No. In the young company that it was, no. Right. Could he have been main eventing Wembley? Fighting MJF for the title that he's held the entire time, and it's in front of the largest crowd they've ever had. And, you know, yes, he could have still been bigger.
Yeah.
But WWE capitalized and went like, we'll fucking make him bigger.
Yep. Yeah.
And the Punk was obviously huge in AEW. That was very big. Those was huge moments.
Sure.
Staggering numbers for them. Like, he did the most business there that he had done. Then for their social media in WWE, granted, it's not them doing something to make it that big.
Right.
The presence of him is that big. We'll see what happens. But chances are, not in spite or anything, but they're going to go, we're going to make this bigger.
Right.
Because that's the stage we have.
Sure.
And it's going to, the perception overall for fans is going to be, Punk is a bigger deal in WWE than it was in AEW. That's just the fucking net that's being cast out.
Sure, of course, absolutely. But I mean, yeah, it's at the end of the day, the cards have fallen where they've fallen, and we're now looking at a roster in WWE that is like kind of like exciting for the first time in a long time with all of the moving pieces. And while there might be some players that you're less invested in than others, I can say the same thing about the other company. There's some players are more invested in theirs too. But
they can turn it on a dime.
Yeah, they could.
They can make a Jinder Mahal champion. And we go, holy shit. This is a big deal.
I got another deal with India coming up that we don't know about. Let me ask you, I know
they just have that power, but we have some dream matches now. We have some people that have been out of it or just not around, and you can do it again. You can
right.
Punk and Cody is
right. It's
money's just fucking sitting on the table.
Also, there's what I love about that is I just spoke earlier about like Cody having such a detailed, specific, scripted presentation, and I think we always talk about how stuff is overproduced and there's a little bit too much heavy hand to paper. He's, I think, the best example of that. Like, if you're going to do it that way, he's the best way you do that. Punk is almost the extreme opposite of like, he's all feeling. He's all just like, what does it feel like right now? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm going to do. And there are definitely things that, like we mentioned earlier, like the line about, punching guys in the back, that's an unprofessional work environment. Like, he definitely had that cocked and loaded, and he thought about that beforehand. Who was going to say that? He maybe didn't necessarily script the whole promo, but he knew at some point I'm going to mention that because he said
I got a line or two in my back pocket.
Yeah, and that's different. But like the two of them,
that's old school. That's Piper. That's everybody having a fucking song lyric and then
100%
weaving it into something.
The two of them are being on opposite ends of that spectrum could make for such fun television because it's going to Cody will challenge Punk to be a little bit more eloquent and a little bit more refined because Cody is going to be so much so. And Punk is going to challenge Cody to loosen up a little bit, especially when they're actually communicating one-on-one with each other. Like, that'll just be great. But I do want to talk about it a little bit. I know we're recording this on the 17th. You're probably hearing this now a week later. So obviously
unless you're live in the chat.
Of course.
Our Patreon. Ooh.
But a lot of wrestling has obviously happened since then. The thing that we kind of didn't want, they did immediately dive into it, where we got Punk signing to Raw and we got a face-to-face with him and Rollins. Did you watch that?
No, not yet.
Oh, because I'm really, in this case, I guess we don't have to discuss it, but I'm curious your thoughts, because I think...
So he did sign.
He signed to Raw.
So Orton went to SmackDown.
Yep.
Punk went to Raw.
And I, for sure, was like, great. Keep them apart now for a long time, because we know that there's this fun beef that, they've both stirred up through the internet, and then keep them apart for a long time.
They're a couple of hot pot brothers.
And then what's great about that is then a year from now or whenever it is, when Punk is run through everybody, then you have this thing
when he's healed up from the injuries that he got 2 months into wrestling.
Yeah.
And
well, the Rumble, he's going to sustain 2.
Second opponent.
He's going to get injured. He's going to enter the Rumble twice. He's going to enter at number 1. He's going to get injured. He's going to heal up, come back in at 29, get injured again. But in any case, they had them come face to face, and I'd be curious what you think about it, because I think it was the best version of Seth that we've had in a while. And I know that you're not a big Seth fan. He didn't do any of the things that he does. None of that. And I think it's great. It's one of those things where he's still getting cheered in a babyface, but he's calling out Punk for all the things that you want him to be called out for. And it was very good. I'm curious to see your thoughts on it. But with that said,
didn't do the dishes. You didn't fucking put your shoes away. Fucking your laundry's just sitting in the wash. It's gonna get all moldy smelling. Like, put it in the dryer.
You left Thor comics all over the floor. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I'm bummed that they did it immediately. Literally, the second he handed the contract over, Rollins' music hits. I'm like, can we just wait? Let this shit breathe a little bit. We know. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're in a feud right now, but they immediately just put them face to face, and it is what it is. It wasn't bad, but it doesn't mean that we needed to do it immediately.
I mean, the thing happened, right? It's
right.
There are a lot of fans aware of Rollins being the first one going, fuck you, right. Hold me back, Michael Cole. Okay.
No, better.
That was easy.
Do it better than that.
Don't you do crazy workouts? I just get something going. Like, I'd rather that one be over and done with. And by the way, just me speaking. I'd rather Punk fight everybody else on the roster.
Yeah, he did mention, and again, who knows? We said in the episode 2 weeks ago, like, if it's on TV, don't fucking believe it, you idiots. But you talked about that first promo back where he felt like there wasn't enough, and he didn't say anything, and it wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. And I said I felt like his time was cut. He did say in this promo, like, I'm in the middle of the show, top of the 9 o'clock hour. I'm not ending it, which means my time can't get cut. So he did allude to maybe that is what happened.
Oh.
But also that might just be him hearing what people said and going, great, yes, that will be the narrative now, because
I'm gonna fuck with this.
It makes me look better.
You'll all go, 100%. They're fucking with you. Okay, all right.
But it's really hard for me to say that that's not the highlight of my year, though. Is just the fact that he's back, and these past couple of weeks have been just so fun and silly, and just still kind of like, is this really happening? Like, what the fuck is happening? It's hard to believe.
And those are great. You can't have those all the time. You can't have the mind-blowing returns, turns, anything like that in wrestling. These are historic for a reason. To have Punk come back, to do whatever it is he's going to do, to have us questioning for getting close to a month now, just going, what's he going to do? Is he going to fight Rollins? Is he going to fight this guy? Oh, what if he does that? What if he's in the Rumble? What if he fights in the fucking main event night 1 or a Mania? All these things, we're excited because of all the possibilities.
Right.
Like, that is so great. For a lot of the other stuff, we don't know what Gunther, the end of the Intercontinental reign is going to be.
No.
We can assume for Roman what his title reign will end with. There's some stuff where you can just kind of line it up and some stuff you can't. And the Punk is just a total fucking mystery of what is the initial long-term plan.
Right. Well, we do know
what was talked about with Triple H of, like, we're going to do this, then go to here, and then do this. It's fucking fascinating.
Right. We do know he's in the Rumble. That's been said now.
Okay.
And he is wrestling in house shows.
Right.
And so my guess
is Square Garden.
My guess is, that is just, put him in there with a couple of the guys and work a moment or two out and just get a feel and just, that's kind of my guess.
The one that's happening in Madison Square Garden and the one in LA, like, who is the opponent is?
But I saw the advertisement for the Madison Square Garden one, and he was not on it. And I thought, well, you're missing out. Why are you not on it? I was walking around the mall the other day here in the city, and like one of the things popped up on the screen. It said WWE Live Holiday Tour, Madison Square Garden, and it was a bunch of those people, and he wasn't even on it. And I went, well,
they print those things 11 years ago.
I know. I was like, see, it was so new they didn't even know what to do.
Well, I do love a house show, especially way more than a WWE televised show at this point.
Sure.
And I kind of got the itch to go. And for Madison Square Garden, I could see you having it too, because CM Punk's opponent is Dominic Mysterio.
Are you serious? That is going to be so fun. I hope Rhea is on the apron, or on the apron, but on like at ringside, and they're going to have so much fun.
That is the quintessential house show match. Like if they do it on Raw, or they do it on a pay-per-view, whatever it is, it's going to be totally different. It's going to be good for that platform.
Right.
But the fucking house show match that those two will have, God damn, would I love to see that.
That could be a lot of fun.
Oh my God. Just it could be anything. It could be funny. There could be 20 minutes of them just killing time of Dominic not wanting to get in the ring, or, CM Punk making fun of his mullet, Rhea getting mad. Like there's so much where it's that to me, that always gets me excited for wrestling, is just that fucking live.
I will say this,
and everybody wanting to watch and see what happens.
I know that they, the house shows, they don't exist, right? Like if it's not on TV, it's not important unless we decide, Diesel wins the championship.
Unless they filmed it and they show it on television.
Right. With that said, I don't know why this is just what popped in my head. I'm a 40-year-old white guy, and so at any given point, I'm just thinking about Pearl Jam, I guess. There was a while where Pearl Jam went on tour in the early 2000s, and just maybe it was late 90s even. They mixed and mastered every single concert, and you could go and you could buy just the live CD, the recordings, and like a bifold, cardboard, very simple. They didn't put a lot of they didn't design an album cover. Everyone was the same. It just said the date and the location. I would pay extra money for just like the house show plan of NBC Peacock, where it's just like, yeah, you want to watch Madison Square Garden from fucking a random Saturday night in the middle of December? There it is. You want to watch, them at the pond in Anaheim? Like I feel like there's some money that they're leaving on the table for that. And if it's all just like whatever the equivalent, or even VOD, even just put that shit on, I don't know, any video on demand service where you just pay to rent it for
just make the ring announcer film it on his phone.
I mean, not for nothing, but everybody just has theirs out anyway, so you could just go online and see the whole fucking thing. But you got to piece it together. Somebody do that.
I'm actually
work.
Going to want to.
Oh, I am 100%.
If I don't go, and it's not likely that I would go,
right?
Because I think it's very soon.
I think it's next week.
Yeah, so
or this week if you're listening.
That I can't believe that. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I would always sooner go to a house show than really any TV tapings, but a pay-per-view is still high because those are high stakes. But fucking house shows, non-televised shows, are so much goddamn fun, and that the addition of that to whatever the show is, because I'm sure there'll be other cool shit too.
Yeah,
but I mean, hey, that's rad.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get it on TV like sometime next year, even if it is a one night, like, hey, tonight on Raw, like last week in a backstage segment, Judgment Day walked by and said some shit to Punk, and now today we're going to have Punk versus Dominic, and it's just a one-off, fun, entertaining, like that is just, a good combination.
But yeah, as you alluded to, like, what will the year bring?
Right.
2024. Obviously, anything with CM Punk will just be fresh and new with a roster of only a few people he's wrestled. You know, there's a ton of people we speculated that, man, fucking Punk versus AJ Styles, Punk versus Dominic Mysterio, Punk versus Gunther, Punk versus Cody. There's just so many, and that's just the matchup. What's the story going to be? What's the back and forth going to be?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Fucking great.
I want to see like
him
Punk
hanging out with
Shinsuke.
New Day. Last time he was hanging out with Kofi. Kofi was just,
oh my God, his former tag team championship partner.
Yeah, he's got to meet, quote unquote, on camera, the things that I think are so important and just fucking easy television to make.
Yeah.
Is establishing relationships and how people feel about each other is, obviously, we know in real life that fucking CM Punk's met everybody in the back and done everything. But it's
but it's,
on TV, he's never met the New Day.
No. Or Otis.
He hasn't met the Maximum Male Models.
No. Oh man.
He hasn't gone to the Gable Wrestling Academy.
Right.
And seen this, like all the meeting of everybody. Like that's so fucking exciting.
You know, what's interesting again, like just a random match on Raw one day, even if it's halfway through the fucking night, him and Ciampa. God, I feel like that they would be great together. Also, all the friends
that is a perfect person for Punk to showcase to a larger audience that if that's one he can work out and he wants to do something with, it's like me and Ciampa doing a thing like leading up to a pay-per-view and give us like a featured spot because I'm going to help make this guy. Don't do it with Gargano. Just do it, Ciampa.
So I was just informed by Mike Lucas in the chat that they did a brief Punk and Kofi on Raw. I did not see that. I'm curious to what happened.
Yeah, but was there New Day?
Yeah, the possibilities, right? Possibilities, and
so that's just one person,
and that's just literally with one guy.
Because also have more Gunther Intercontinental reign.
Yeah, you also have like Cody's been there for just a year now, right? Just over a year. And he's been pretty exclusive to a specific brand and you know, a brief talent pool. Now he's working with Shinsuke, which is great. But like, you know, even him, there's so many people that we haven't seen him come face to face with in the however long it's been, 8 years since he's been gone, or maybe less than that, much less than that. What am I talking about? But
I think other 2024 things, you know, we have Nick Aldis in the mix of SmackDown, and that's still questionable as will Nick ever wrestle inside a WWE ring, or is he just going to be an on-air talent for a long time?
Just there to be on screen.
Rhea Ripley, all the things she's doing, because that's got to culminate to something, whether it does in 2024 or not, but she's going to still be having fucking exciting, cool shit.
Charlotte is now injured and will be missing Mania. And,
oh shit!
And so you've now have like that's just a slot opening up for someone to step up, and you know you've got Jade Cargill sitting in the
not Liv Morgan.
Sitting, she's she made bail. She
Sorry,
made
I was
bail.
driving WrestleMania. What's going on? Was it going a little fast? Is that the problem?
No. Andrea Beeler in the chat just said, "Oh, Jake, Punk versus Ciampa. Holy crap!" I don't know if that was because she was excited or if she's upset at the possibilities. It will be really funny to see him. I like the idea that Ciampa comes in a locker room and DIYs together, and for whatever reason, Punk just doesn't like Johnny Gargano. He's just like, I just don't get you. And Ciampa's really into Punk, and he gets jealous. And Punk and Ciampa start hitting it off, and like, yeah, you're kind of my style. Meanwhile, Gargano's like,
Gargano's still there though.
What the hell? I mean, yeah, they're tagging. They're back in tag teaming.
That's too bad.
Okay, I got clarification. She was excited by the idea. Good to know.
Yeah, so I think those are some things that are in this past year. We've had Rock return, which has made us speculate, could Rock come back for WrestleMania 40? We know we're still dealing with 2 nights. The main event of WrestleMania is not set. Now that Charlotte's out, you know, the past couple of years we've had women's match main eventing night 1. We've had a tag team match main eventing night 1. So that is still a spot where now Punk coming back seems like, that's likely
first night
major featured attraction with main event night 1.
If he wins the Rumble,
against somebody.
If he wins the Rumble, then it might be completely, you know, it might be the main event night 2 for all we know.
It could be.
Yeah.
So that's still a little exciting that we don't quite know what we're going to get. You know, Brock shows up around this time of year typically. There's a lot of moving parts.
You know, by the way, Punk apparently like is just crushing merchandise records right now for like
both companies
for the year. Yeah, and I was gonna say in WWE, and I'm sure he's still doing such a good business. That guy must just be making money hand over foot right now, assuming that he doesn't have some sort of weird thing that was discount like that because of his termination, that he's not getting screwed over on WWE merch right now. I'm sorry, on AEW merch right now.
Well, all that merch typically is sold through Pro Wrestling Tees.
Oh, it's completely independent of AEW. They don't have a AEWshop.com?
No.
Oh,
shit. This was something we talked about early on. They get a much higher cut.
Right.
from merch, which was a huge selling point, I think, in the very beginning for a lot of guys and gals. And AEW never had to deal with distribution of all this shit, printing it somewhere, having it, storing it, shipping it out, all that nonsense. Now they have figures and obviously the video game and stuff like that. So they have other avenues of which that could be discounted, or they go like, all right, now we're not doing that anymore. He's not under contract, so we're not going to make that.
Right.
Whether you will probably see something, I would imagine in the future, that Pro Wrestling Tees, when people go to WWE, there's usually a, hey, this superstar's line of stuff is ending by this date, so get it now.
Right.
But maybe he's like, no, don't cut any of that off. I want it. You'll make your shit. You're fine. I'll make that shit. It's fine. Everybody's just going to buy shit and everything's fine. Maybe he gets his way with that. I don't know. But yeah, he's got to be making a shit ton of money right now.
Good for him.
Oh, will he make, is he going to make the cut for the next game?
He'll be a
WWE
deal.
2K 25,000.
Yeah, see, we did. This is what I got confused about a couple weeks ago, and I had some people write me like, "Hey, you dummy, that game came out last year that you were talking about." Because I always forget. Oh, right, yeah, it's already 2023 and 2024.
So yeah, it's 24 because now they got the
25 is it will be the one, but he'll be in it. I mean, all the moves and stuff are there. They just have to scan them. That's all they got to do.
No, 2K24 is the next one.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is, and that's the one you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Is will he make it in time for that game? Because that's a DLC edition. Is the only way that's going to work.
100%. I mean, maybe.
I doubt. I don't know, because that it's also tricky timing wise, because that could have easily been a cover guy if they had. The timing was all right when they could have done like showcase mode, everything. We're fucking going all in on Punk and we're going to go the full way. But I don't know what they have in store for this year. So they have something in mind of cover person and what the story's going to be and all that. But Punk maybe that's the shot in the arm that this game will have, that 6 months in or so, they go, and now pick it back up because CM Punk is in the game.
I can't imagine that they missed that opportunity.
I just don't think it'll be at launch.
Right.
That's just
it'll be
sad thing thinking about that. Got excited for.
And
then 2024, we're going to see Sting's last match.
Yeah, this 2023 was the last full year where Sting was an active wrestler, except for the last one that happened, and probably the next one.
So, yeah, we're getting close. We still don't have an opponent for him. Tickets went on sale. They did very, very well. Their price points also went down back to, because A&W had inflated their ticket prices for a while. They were doing really well, and I understand why they do that, but I think for the sake of fans being able to go again, it's back to more the original price points for pay-per-views. So there were a lot of cheaper seats available to the public. And so I think that's going to be a sold-out crowd. And it's going to be packed, and that's going to be a really big emotional night. That's the first AEW pay-per-view I've wanted to order in a while, and I really don't want to miss that. I want to.
No, yeah, it's one of those. If this really is it, then we're going to want to experience it, and it probably isn't, in my opinion, but it might be.
Could be, yeah. I don't know. TNA's back. Dixie could give him a call.
You'd be like, "Hey, do you still have that Joker makeup?"
Yeah, he wore it a little bit ago.
Yeah. All in all, for a year that I think you and I didn't experience fully as other years, I think the
completionist style that we have previously done, where we try and watch it all.
I do think it's been one of the more like newsworthy and noteworthy years in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as some of the big stories, as far as some people going from one organization to the next.
Major shakeups,
matches. I feel like, with the exception of Punk returning in the first place 2 years ago, when was that? 2021? I think is when he debuted, maybe.
No, was it?
Yeah,
It was the very end.
I think it was 2021 potentially.
Let's see here.
But I feel like, with the exception of that happening when that happened, I do feel like if things look so much more different right now than they did this time last year.
August 2021.
Yeah, there it is.
You are correct.
It's been a fun year, and I hope that the things that were good that stopped being good can return to that to their forms. And I think the things that we're anticipatory of can deliver.
Who will break out in 2024?
Depends on who's not washing their
next
faces.
Person or male and female, like who's gonna just, something's gonna happen, whether it's booking some character, something where it's just like, hey, this person's really got. Everybody's saying turning heads.
There's a possibility Braun Breaker might come up to the main roster and actually do a thing or two. I'm not a huge fan.
Talking about actually breaking out though, like everybody, the bubble that he's in, like he's everybody's talking and watching him. I'm talking like someone that doesn't have that.
You know, that R-Truth guy came back. I feel like he's got a bright future ahead of him. He looks like he's what, 26, 27 years old. He's still got some good years left.
I'd say 17.
Andrea Beeler says Cora Jade in NXT.
Okay. And she's also going to a WWE live event in 2024. She hasn't gone to one of those in years.
Ooh.
That'll be awesome because that's her house shows. Those are the fucking best.
I don't know. It's tough. You know, this is a tough thing for me to answer because of what we were just talking about, where it's like, I'm only really specifically watching the stuff that I'm looking for. So I haven't really been introduced to a lot of new people who I feel like, well,
even still, we can go with someone like I would say Chad Gable never broke out. You know, people that you're aware of that have never broken through to that next level, to someone that it's like, oh, they got something going on, that even those people that you can be familiar with, but they just not there yet.
Mike Lucas in the chat says Trick Williams as well. I saw a thing recently where he called himself Trick James, as in like Rick James, doing like sort of a throwback to the Chappelle Show. And everybody was talking about that on the internet. I was like, oh, good. You found something in the zeitgeist that will make people share it on Twitter. You have succeeded.
It's confusing to me because I love Treat Williams. And so to have a Trick Williams and know that they'll never be an on-screen duo as Trick and Treat Williams.
Halloween themed tag team. Let's see. I mean, there's a possibility. I know that he's holding the Money in the Bank, but I feel like they might pull a trigger on something big with Damian Priest. They seem to really be investing a lot into him. They seem to, from what I've seen, they seem to really like Ridge Holland. Seems like they might be putting a little bit of time into Ridge Holland. I still think that no one's ever going to. They're never going to forgive him for hurting Big E.
Well, if that were the case, they would have fired him.
I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that. You stumped me.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose I could do the thing where I look at the roster and I go, "Oh, maybe that guy," but I was trying to not do that this time.
Yeah. Don't use references for anything. They're the worst. I think, this is something, if we answered it every year, I'd probably say the same answer, but I also, if we saw that when contracts are ending, I'm sure that would change our answers for quite a bit too. I fucking really hope Powerhouse Hobbs breaks through.
I thought you were going to say Ford, Montez Ford, because I think that's another person who last year you thought for sure.
Yeah, I do want Montez Ford. I know the tag team's so great and fun, but man, seeing what he did at the Elimination Chamber that one year.
Yeah.
Him as a single star would just be really exciting to me. But Powerhouse Hobbs is another one where I just want to see that motherfucker break through. He's so interesting to see as a presence. He's got such a great look. He looks credible. He's fucking strong. I like it when he talks straight and to the point. They've stuck him with QTV and they've done other shit with him. They're hot and cold on him. I just want him to be a major player.
I mean,
I think he's got all the attributes to be at that first point of it.
he's also that's just a fucking great name. Just a great name, great look. Like, one of those people where I feel like for someone like him, it's all about the opportunity and whether or not once given it, if he can seize it. And, if the opportunity exists over there, how does he seize it? How does he break through in a way that's...
How does he seize it?
Because, I don't know. Noam Dar, someone says, will have a breakout year in the chat, and I don't know if
all right, take this seriously.
I don't know if that's a joke or not. I mean, we're watching it actively happen in LA Knight, and I just think that that's going to just be a trajectory where, he's already...
That's been fucking awesome.
And I think next year, this time, it's going to be the next level, I think. Assuming they don't, they don't...
I got a text from someone like early on in the year, and they said like, I'm sorry, I didn't listen to you about LA Knight.
Oh, really? That's fun.
Like, you were telling me about Eli Drake all those times, and I should have checked him out. I get it now.
I like that. It was very kind.
It wasn't a good feeling of like, I told you so. I was just happy that it's like another one. And then just a wave of it happened all at once where everybody's like, fucking, we love this guy. So yeah, he's another one where I feel like this was his breakout year when he's getting that sweet, sweet Saudi money.
Right.
But as far as ladies go, for me, I was trying to think of somebody as well. And I had someone in mind. I just fucked it up. Making jokes.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like I know that she's already kind of at the top. I still feel like Io Sky is just going to continue to just get better and better and be better in the ring.
Oh, for me, Chelsea Green.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a hope more than that's like one of those wishes where I'm like, yeah, no, I want that.
Oh, and I also want her to go, wait a minute, what am I married to? Jesus Christ, what a loser. But she is so perfect for WWE.
Right.
She's blonde. She got big boobies.
I'm sorry.
So
what was
right
that?
there, she's got two of Vince's favorite things. But then
three of his favorite things.
And then she's funny. She's got great timing. She's Canadian, so she's funny. She can tap into these like super fun sports entertainment characters,
right?
Like play over the top. Her fucking entitled persona right now is outstanding. Call the manager, all that shit. She's fucking perfect for WWE. I know she has played with injuries her first go around there, but she is so good. And if the matches can live up, and if she can just stay healthy and stay good, she's fucking perfect for there. And she could be an easy breakout star where you want to see her get the shit kicked out of her, kind of like a Carmella.
Right. Yes.
And then she'll eventually be so funny the crowd will just love
her instead. Yeah, of course.
She's a perfect character for WWE in the women's division. And she's just, she's got enough size, incredible enough that you go like, yeah, she could win. I don't know if you go, she could beat Rhea Ripley, but maybe she cheats like hell.
Charlotte. Yeah. Well, but she could benefit, from being a cheat in that way where she's can play it up comedically. But again, that will be the behavior that inevitably gets her over in a way that we don't want to boo her no more. Yeah. Mike Lucas in the chat says Chelsea Green would have been a perfect third Iconic. I think she would have been a leader of that group, personally. But yeah, no, I don't disagree. Chelsea Green, your second favorite person with the last name Cardona.
Who?
That's Chelsea Green is your second favorite person. The first one being, of course.
I don't see a hyphen.
It's her real name.
Is it?
Yeah, she took his last name.
Hold on.
Yeah, she's Chelsea Cardona.
I'm checking Wikipedia.
She's a Chelsea Cardona. Which, by the way, does not roll off the tongue at all.
No, that's a disease, Chelsea Cardona.
That's the version of coronavirus you get on Chelsea Piers in New York City. I got that Chelsea Cardona. He's Googling.
I don't. So far, I'm not seeing this.
All right.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. Where'd you get your fucking facts from, buddy?
Because they're married. Chelsea Green. Let me see. Chelsea Green.
How old fashioned are you that if you're married, you just take the.
Actually,
take the
it's literally, it took me, all I had to do was literally just go to Wikipedia. And it says Chelsea Ann Cardona is a Canadian professional wrestler.
Chelsea Ann Green.
On no, it doesn't.
Oh, over in this. Oh, in another side.
Where they actually write. Yeah, it says her birth name is Chelsea Ann Green. Her name. When was her name?
She's doomed.
When was her name Reclusa with a K?
When she was engaged to Matt Cardona.
Reclusa. I don't remember her being in Lucha Underground as Reclusa.
Yeah, because you watched every episode, I'm sure.
Season 1, baby. I gotta finish.
Oh, season 1, baby.
Yeah, season 1, baby. Well, listen. There's so much has occurred. Are there any other highlights or lowlights that you want to touch on before we wrap this up? We need to finish for the year because we're all Palskied out. There's no more Palskis left for the year. We're running.
What?
We're running out of Palskis.
Ate them?
Yeah, we ate all the Palskis. We eat them for fuel.
Ooh,
that's why we need you to go to patreon.com/PWPalskis and sign up for the fuel tier.
Well, I'm a sucker for anything that I think between us, we can go, that was both the best and the worst of the year.
I'm excited about this. Where are you going with this one?
So, sponsorship matches.
Yes. They happened.
They're both. They are the extremes, right? The Mountain Dew fucking match was...
Pitch Black was the best beverage with a wrestling match named after it.
Trying to think if I can come up with something else that goes against that, but I can't.
No.
So maybe it was.
Fantastic beverage. Also has a wrestling match named after it.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch's stamp on Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio.
On violence. Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's what the Bible says. And Rey Mysterio believes. That's why he wears that big cross.
Spoil the child. Spill the milk.
Spill the milk. No, you don't want to spill it. You want to drink it because it tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Well, that's why then you smack the rod with the child. You take the child and then you stand the rod up and then you
hit him.
Whack him.
Hold him by his feet.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre Championship Death Match.
I think that was the worst one of the bunch. As far as
it's also kind of the best.
I mean,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. I think
I've watched it like 4 times now.
You had more fun with that one than I did. We did that one on Watch Along, and yeah, I watched it twice. Do you remember?
It's closer to my heart.
Do you remember why I watched that one twice?
No, I don't recall.
Well, yeah, let's pull this curtain back because I don't know if we mentioned it, but if you're not
yes, it did. That's all you did. You said you wanted to acknowledge the whole thing.
Great, perfect. But I meant like we didn't mention it on the main feed that this had occurred. Is that we watched an entire watch along match, but Scott afterwards was like, Jake, I have bad news. I did not hit record. And so we had to watch the whole thing again.
No, that's not true. I hit record.
You just lied to me.
But I was on the wrong input.
Oh, that's right. So you just had no sound.
Yeah. I had a dead audio file.
But yeah, I don't think I enjoyed that one as much as the two prior that you had mentioned.
And there's more to come, and I'm sure I've missed a couple that have also existed this year.
I mean,
that have occurred.
There are no more WWE pay-per-views this year, but I think is there one more AEW or is that it? Are we done for the year for the big two? I think we're done for the big two. Yeah. So listen, we just have to see what 2024 brings us.
Well, wait, are you talking about that? Or are you talking about what else the best and worst of this year?
Oh no, I know. I was just making a statement that are there any other pay-per-views coming this year that we might get a sponsorship match at?
I see.
Yeah,
well, they did. I think they tend to do them on TV more for the ad
most
revenue
for most clicks.
Gotta get them clicks. Oh, AW World's End, December 30th.
Right, of course. Edgar Wright is a sponsor. They're gonna have a World's End match. Where
that's right.
Alien robots. They have to fight off alien robots. A lot of good wrestling in that movie, by the way.
You know, I'm not going to put that in the best or worst category. I would say one of the worst things definitely that happened for just women's wrestling in general, was Mercedes Moné's injury.
Right.
At New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. Because clearly big things were going, and that was a major part of the company, and just launching forward with, she was doing crossover stuff too. She's doing Mandalorian, and she's doing that, and that's a big setback.
Yeah, it did feel like it sucked all the wind out of her sails.
Mm-hmm. I think that was one. Another best and worst at the same time. Nick Wayne's mom.
I you've mentioned this earlier, and I don't think I recall this, or I didn't see it.
Are you aware of Nick Wayne?
We talked about Nick Wayne during one of our name episodes, and I remember looking him up, and I've already forgotten what he looks
amongst
like.
Christian Cage's group with Killswitch, who was formerly Luchasaurus.
Right.
Nick Wayne, because it's another person that Christian Cage picks on for having a dead dad.
Great.
Which is a great theme to keep going through. And I don't know how long he's going to be able to do it. Maybe that's what he did with the Von Erichs. Who knows?
There you go.
I don't know. So Nick Wayne's mom has been at several shows.
Shayna Wayne.
And is acting.
Oh.
What's her name?
Shayna Wayne. Like Shayna Baszler. Shayna Wayne. You have
Shayna
a Y.
Wayne.
You have a Y in both of your names. So just like his father, Buddy Wayne.
So Shayna Wayne, a lot of this came to a head at the match that I think was Dynamite, which was Edge versus Christian Cage for the TNT Championship. Main event, fighting scene, Edge and Christian facing each other. And goddamn, does it feel like Vince Russo put this one together, because at the end of the match, when the referee is down, out comes Shayna Wayne from the back, and with a determined look on her face of, I remember the things I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do them in the right order.
Okay.
And she grabs the TNT Championship because she's been upset with Christian because he's been talking about how, Nick Wayne's dad is dead, and that why would she marry such a loser, and he likes the kid, but he's taking him in, and she thinks he's evil.
Okay.
And Edge fucking gave a concerto to her child.
Oh.
So of course she's like pro Edge, right?
Yeah.
And so she comes out,
Also
and then she grabs the TNT Championship, and finally she's going to get retribution for her son, but she's not looking at Christian Cage. She's looking at Edge, and then looking at Edge, and then it looks over at Christian, and Christian kind of gives a look of like, don't look at me.
Right. What are you doing?
Well, sorry, it's keep looking at me. That's what I meant to say.
Right.
That he's like, keep looking at me. Don't look at him. Because she telegraphs the fuck out of, she hits Edge.
Okay.
Like what is to be the big turn, and oh my God, no, don't do that.
Right.
But it's so bad. It's so fucking bad.
Add it to the watch along list.
It might be. So she's great, and she's closing out the year. So hopefully all next year there's going to be more Shayna Wayne.
You think it's tougher for Tony Khan when he has to create like a new generic action figure out of other parts from other action figures, because they're not like a regular wrestler that you can just go buy off the shelf? He has to like custom make some random wrestler's mom. It's got to be tough on him.
I think anybody who, if there's a wrestler that goes like, you know what, Tony, we're not friends anymore. He's like, and then immediately runs while crying and then disassembling their figure that he made for them.
He
Big Swole. He's like, that's it.
Tries to break it, but he can't.
I don't care. You weren't a good wrestler anyway.
He's like, well, we made such good figures, like they can't break it.
Boy, what else? Best and worst of 2024 or 2023 rather.
I mean, I think we did a pretty good job. I think we covered a lot of ground.
Best, more titles, all the titles.
Oh my God!
Hopefully they add more next year too.
There's been 17 titles that Tony Khan's added since we started this episode recording,
and another world title for WWE. So
yep,
hip hip hooray!
I mean, listen, like I said earlier, it's been a very memorable one. I think there's things that occurred this year will be in a lot of promo packages for years to come. I'd be curious to see what the data is on like what year is the most mined for clips of WWE programming and of like, when they have to pull clips to show, or commercials for things, like what year or what like couple years span is like, we pull so much stuff. That was a really good year. I think this is going to be one of those.
You think so?
Everybody's got some great highlights this year. There's a lot of like characters were formed, returns happened. There's some big moments. A lot of sign pointing moments without actually pointing to the sign. Yeah,
I think that's a very fair and valid point. It could be one of the most pulled years of all time.
Well, we do appreciate everybody joining us and hanging out. That'll do it for the last one of the year. As far as the PWP program goes, we want to thank everybody who continues to support the show over on the Patreon. The best way to support the show is over at patreon.com/PWPalskis. You can find yourself a bunch of stuff there, various tiers that'll allow you access to the live streams as they occur, so that you can chime in and let us know what you're thinking in real time. Also, access to the entire library. Oh my goodness, there's so many years and years and years worth of programs there. The entire watch along series, which we've got a fun update coming next year for the watch along.
One is in place already, so you can get in on we did a video watch along. So if you want to watch the first one of those, check that out. That's there available for you
right now as we speak. Tons of great stuff. And of course, our championship Palskis will continue to be entered into the monthly PWP Championship Battle Royal. Current champ Tim Redbeard, aka Bloodfuzz, once again brings us into a new year. If you want to challenge Tim Redbeard for that title, you got to become a championship Palski over at patreon.com/PWPalskis. Scott Narva, we got to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
The only podcast that gives you a retribution and a maximum male model name. So thank you to AJ0314, aka Binary, aka Matrice69, Alex Pierce, aka Figs, aka Zitoys, Alice Raider, aka Invasion, aka Yves, Andrea Beeler, aka Pollen Hate, aka Achu Detest, Curtis Mason, aka Hurtus, Gilbert Short, aka Goliathon, aka Batal Underoos, Mass Llama, a.k.a. Spitz, a.k.a. Jacare Lover, Michael Beltran, a.k.a. Limestone, a.k.a. La Natural, Miguel Diaz, a.k.a. Bipod, a.k.a. Too Much Husk, Mike Lucas, a.k.a. Hackensack, a.k.a. Luger Testicle, Suicide, a.k.a. A.K.A. Tim Bemis, a.k.a. War Trek, a.k.a. Tussle Quest, Tim Redbeard, a.k.a. Bloodfuzz, a.k.a. Blue Diffuse, a.k.a. the current PWP champ, Tom Hader, a.k.a. Cupid, a.k.a. Cherub, and Tony Griggs, a.k.a. Big Griggs, a.k.a. Grand Grisois.
Thanks to each and every one of you for continued support of the show. Hey, check out the shop over at dragonwagonshop.com. There's some fantastic merchandise. You can get yourself a nice hat like the one I'm wearing right there. Also some really nice flat build caps as well, if that's more your style. We've got hoodies, we've got shirts, we've got mugs, we've got fantastic phone cases, some really great designs, lots of brand new stuff there as well.
Footy pajamas sold out. Hope to be restocked in early 2024. Thanks for all those who made it happen and bought up all the footy pajamas.
You can blame CM Punk for that selling out so quickly. You can find us on all the socials, at PW Palskis. I'm at Jake Lloyd Bacon. He's at Scott Narver. Check out all the work we do. Check out Scott versus Box. Check out Dave Made a Maze. Check out Pinch, available on Amazon this holiday season. Check out what else do we do? Check out
the graphic novel crossover. Dave Made a Pinch.
Dave Made a Pinch.
Just a sexual assault case at work.
Listen, just because we're taking a break doesn't mean that you have to. Go back, listen to old Patreon episodes.
There's a whole fucking network that Jake
shit.
runs called Dragon Wagon Radio. Go to dragonwagonradio.com and look at all the shows. If you gotta like something else other than wrestling, for God's sakes, you can pick yourself up another show or two there. And it's the end of the year. What the fuck, Jake? You never did this.
I didn't.
He's got an Amazon wish list on the page.
This year, it's a little light this year because of the temporary drag
Jake
stand.
needs a new car.
But yes, if you are in the
donations, I'm sure
Yes.
can be made to Dragon Wagon Radio.
Yes.
I'm sure that is a thing that if you want to, acknowledge Jake on the Discord, and if you want to just probably PayPal him some cash or some shit,
you could,
if you want to make donations towards Dragon Wagon Radio, or there's still the wish list. There's still stuff to be had.
That's very kind.
Jake's got to wipe his ass like anybody else. He hasn't mastered what dogs do.
DragonWagonRadio.com/support is what you're looking for there. Thanks for that, Scott. But that'll do it. For the last time this year, we appreciate you guys. We hope you had fun. We hope you continue to enjoy this fucking insane, silly art form that we all connect to in some strange way. And as always, an absolute blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
It's Dragon Wagon.